So for this one, we've got a right triangle with an angle of 28, sides of 1, and another side of W, and we're looking for W. So remember, the 28 is going to be your reference angle. So across from it is our opposite side. Across from the right angle is your hypotenuse. And then across, or not across, beside the angle then is your adjacent. So the only two measurements we have right now are opposite and adjacent. And so opposite and adjacent is our tangent function. So to set this up, we're going to take the tangent of the angle measure over 1 equals, in this case, opposite over adjacent. All right, so we've got W times the tangent of 28 equals 1. Our W and our tangent shouldn't be together if we're trying to solve this. So how do I move the tangent of 28 away from the W? I divide. So I'm going to divide both sides by the tangent of 28. So I want you to plug this piece into your calculator and see what you get. So in this case, you should get W to equal 1.88 or 1.9 if you want to round. We've got a right triangle with an angle of 33, a hypotenuse of 4.5, and another side equal to W. And we're trying to find the length of W. So we start from our reference angle, right? 33. This is our opposite side. This I already said is the hypotenuse, and so this is the adjacent side. We have measurements at hypotenuse and adjacent. So adjacent hypotenuse is which trig relationship? Should be cosine, right? So we've got cosine of 33 over 1 equals our adjacent side over our hypotenuse. We want to cross multiply again. So 1 times W is W, and then 4.5 times the cosine of 33. So you should get W to be 3.77. A section of Filbert Street in San Francisco rises at an angle of about 17 degrees. If you walk 150 feet up this section, what is your vertical rise? So the first thing we want to do is sketch a picture of our triangle, because we're still in a trig section of the chapter, so it's got to be a right triangle.
Nice circle.
So there's our right angle. Our 17 degrees will go here, and they said 150 feet up the ramp, so we'll put that here. We're looking for our vertical rise, which puts X there. So if we're using trig in this case, we should see that we have a relationship between our sides of, should be, well, not opposite adjacent in this case. It's going to be opposite and hypotenuse. So that automatically makes this sine. So the sine of 17 over 1 equals opposite over hypotenuse. We want to cross multiply again. So 1 times X is X. 150 times the sine of 17 is what we're going to plug in our calculator. So 150 times the sine of 17, 43.85, or right around 44 feet. We have a right triangle with sides of 15 and 20 shown. We're looking for the measure of angle X. So in order to find the measure of angle X, we've got to determine the side lengths from X. So if X is here, the side across from it is its opposite. The side across from the right angle is the hypotenuse, and that means 15 is then your adjacent. So we've got hypotenuse and adjacent, or adjacent and hypotenuse. So that's cosine. So we're taking the cosine of X equals our adjacent over hypotenuse. Remember, when we want to find angle measure, the key here is to use the inverse. So we're going to take the cosine inverse to find the measure of angle X. So that means X is going to equal cosine inverse of 15 over 20. So x should be 41.4 degrees. So our reference angle, y, so we have opposite, adjacent. So that would be tangent. So the tangent of y is going to be equal to 100 over 41. To find the angle measure, you need to use the inverse. So y is going to equal tan inverse of 100 over 41. And in this case, you should get y to equal 67.7 degrees.